Okay, good evening, everyone, and sorry for being 10 minutes late. Baruch Hashem, before Passover, we're pretty busy. We are now at the class of laws of Passover. We have a lot of halachot during Pesach. This is why we're starting, according to the halacha, 30 days before Passover to study about Passover. I want to thank the Medina's family for hosting this class. May God bless them with abundance, with bracha and success for them and all the children, all the participants. God bless you all. Thank you. So there's many questions I get, especially these days. People says, Rabbi, I need to check for chametz. I need to search for chametz, but actually I'm not going to be there that day. Why? Because I'm going to a hotel. I'm going to a hotel 2-3 days before Passover on the day, and I'm coming back after Pesach. I'm not going to kosher the house. I'm closing it and coming back after Pesach. Do I still need to do the search for the chametz, for the leavening with the candle and the blessing and all that? So the halacha said, let me summarize it. I'm not going to read it, I'm going to summarize it. So if you leave before the 14th of Nisan, which is going to be this year, 2018, not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday. I don't know what exactly date, I'll tell you in a second. The 29th, okay, March 29th, 2018. Everybody checking after 8:30 p.m. If you checking that night, you say a blessing. If you forgot to check the very next day, during the holiday, you still, as long as there is holiday of Passover, it doesn't end, didn't finish. It's not. So you're saying that you have to conduct a search with a blessing. If you leave 30 days before Passover, which would be around the days when you read the Megillah, right? So you have to search for chametz without a blessing. After the holiday, you still have to search for chametz without blessing. The blessing is only at that night and during the holiday. Why I have to search after the holiday? Because we might find chametz that I didn't sell, that I can use. And by the way, the document for selling your chametz is already, it's there, it's ready. You may join us at the shul, and in order to sell your chametz. So, it's a great experience, and you must get rid of these chametz. You're checking, you're collecting all the 10 pieces, and you burn them at the very next day. In our synagogue, we're going to do something special this year. We're adding on the top of what we're supposed to do, Siyum Masechet, when we're finishing a tractate of Talmud. So all the firstborn that's supposed to fast. Why the firstborn fasting on the eve of Passover? Because of the great miracle on that day when Hashem killed all the non-Jews firstborn and the Jews were saved. So you can exempt yourself from this fast by participating at a short study right after Shachrit, the morning prayer. There's a special blessing there, and then we eat, we drink a little bit, and we have to get rid of that chametz, and you're exempt. It's highly recommended to do that instead of fasting, because people fasting, it's hard. By the time you have to start to eat, it's around 9 or 8:45 p.m. You're hungry after the first cup, you feel dizzy, you get drunk easily, and the Seder is wrong. So it's far more better to do that. Break the fast with participating in this learning. So we do it in the shul, in our synagogue every year, but we're adding this year Hatarat Nedarim Uklalot. We're going to do nullifying vows and curses. This is something you do around Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but I've decided we're going to do Be'ezrat Hashem this year as well. It's take also a few minutes, but it's very important that you go to the holiday when you are clean and you're free from bad forces, sitra acha, persecutors, angels persecutor against you because you have vows that you didn't fulfill, or there's curses against you, or you might accidentally curse someone. So we do this special ceremony to release you from these obligations and commitment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam she'akol nihyo bidvaro. So that's basically it. And now the next question is as follows. People during Pesach, they keep entire Passover free of leavening, free of chametz. Fine. Now, I have a question. I have a very good friend that he is a non-Jew. Okay? And he wants to come to my house, and he brings his own, McDonald's meal to my kosher home. He brings non-kosher food, and not only that, he's bringing chametz, leavening. It's the whole bread. Or someone has some constructions at home or repair, and the people sitting there eating lunch. They eat lunch and they bring their chametz to your house on Passover. Should I allow them or forbid them? Tell them, you can't eat here. Or do all these jobs after Passover. Some of them might be urgent. So the halacha says the following. During Pesach, it is forbidden to eat at the same table where a non-Jew is eating chametz, even if the two people are eating on separate tablecloth or placemates. Accidentally, you can reach to something that is chametz. You know, you're talking, you're occupied with some type of conversation, you leave the table, you come back, you might eat chametz, and this is karet. It's no less than that. Rachel, you know what karet means?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Karet is the most is the worst punishment that any soul can get. When the neshama, the soul, is cut off from its source. That's it. It's one of them. Someone that doesn't do Brit Milah. There's 36 different type of karet, kritot, cut off. The Mishnah brings the whole list of them. 15 or 16 of them is idolatry.
You said something last week that was crazy that it would be correct. What did you say?
I don't remember. You have to go back to the recording. So I don't honestly remember. But you know, during the year, we can eat on the same table fleishik and milchik, meat and dairy, on the same table. So let's say my brother eats dairy, I can eat meat, but we have to put something separate, as let's say a bottle and on some type of tablecloth, so we can see the separation. So you won't reach to other food, a glass of milk, drinking, or hot chocolate, whatever, right? Shoko, we call it shoko now, while I'm eating meat. So you have to do this separation. Passover, you can't play games. You have to be more strict.
I have a question about the karet.
Okay, in a second, let me just finish this. So, regarding two Jewish people who wish to eat at one table, one eating meat and one eating dairy, it is permitted as long as they eat on separate mats. Regarding the prohibition of eating chametz, however, we must be more stringent, since chametz, leavening on Pesach, does not become nullified whatever the ratio into which it becomes mixed. Therefore, we must avoid the possibility of even the tiniest bit of chametz from the non-Jew coming into contact with the Jew's food. Question.
God forbid something happens to a Jew with a karet, but like if they do get karet, is there any way for them to get it back?
The only way to get back their life back, the karet back, to fix karet, is to do, who knows? Teshuvah, repentance. You go to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe will tell you what needs to be done. They give you an advice, and you can fix it. The rule in Judaism is as follows: as long as you are still alive, you can fix, you can rectify. From everything, the worst sins that you can imagine. You have the opportunity, as long as you're alive, to rectify. No one can fix any sin for you. No one will carry any sins for you. It's nothing to do with some righteous that dies because of the sins of the majority. Sometimes God has His own ways how He let go to the majority and says, this tzaddik, I brought him here to help you guys. Obviously, you are not following the ways of the tzaddik, so maybe we don't need. I'm wasting his time here. The tzaddik, the righteous man, he finished his term in this world. You do not deserve to have him here. Okay, but if you think you can do whatever you want, and someone else will carry your sin just because you believe in him, or he promises you, or what, it doesn't work like that. You cook what you eat, or you eat what you cook. Okay? That's it's very simple. Okay. What about a non-Jew that enters your house during Passover? Some people get panicked. Some people jump out of the window. What you going to do? Should you use a parachute? A rope? If a non-Jew enters a Jew's house with chametz in his hands on Pesach, it is not necessary to force him to leave or take it out. You just take a gun. No, I'm just kidding. Even though the chametz in the Jews' view, there is no sin in that. I'm going to shopping at Tam-Tam, or Walmart, or Sam's Club, or whatever. There's a lot of chametz there. And I see the chametz. The Allah says you're not supposed to see chametz. So why am I not seeing? Why it's not a sin if I see chametz?
It's not yours.
It's not mine. Thank you, Yafa. It's not mine, so I don't care. Since it belongs to the non-Jew, therefore, it is permissible to call for a non-Jewish repairman to work in one's home on Pesach. Some people says, I'm going to call only a Jewish repairman. No, you can call a non-Jew. No problem. Okay, I'll explain that. If the repair is necessary to prevent further losses. So you do the urgent things during the Passover. Even though the repairman may bring his lunch that includes foods that are chametz, it is not necessary to have him take his lunch out of the house. He might bring even kosher meal. He buys kosher meal, but it's chametz. Even so, it is best to avoid such a situation and ensure that no crumbs accidentally become mixed into our food. So people that have big companies and offices, they should put signs, it's Passover, please show respect. Maybe you should speak with a little bit, bless you, labriut, with workers, tell them what to try to avoid, or not to hurt anyone's feelings. It's very important. Okay? There's a lot of non-Jews. They are very good friends of us, and they might get offended because they don't know. They don't know why you go crazy. You have to explain to them. They love you, they love Israel, they support everything you tell them. Trust me. Just take a minute to explain to them what's going on. This is Passover. They think it's some see Passover differently than you. They don't know what's really going on. They don't even understand why you can drive. What's up with this leavening? They call the called Pascha. Even the Christian has something that's related to Passover. It's called the Pascha in Hebrew. Pascha. Anyways, Rochelle, you had a question.
Yeah, you said you were saying that non-Jew comes to your house during the Pesach. You weren't talking about like to the Seder. You were talking about
the entire Passover. Now you want to ask if they are invited to the Seder?
Are they allowed to sit in the Seder?
Okay. So that's a good question. It's a question I get every year, at least few times. Is it permissible to invite or to have on your Seder table a non-Jew? It's a good question. And the answer is as follows. It depends. Now, listen carefully. If the non-Jew is part of a conversion learning class, not only that you can, it's a mitzvah to invite him. Otherwise, how he can learn? You got to teach him. Sit down. If this non-Jew is just a good friend, it has nothing to do with converting to Judaism. Let's say he's righteous is Noahide. He's keeping the seven vessel. It's not. He's a Christian. The question, the halacha says there is no, I don't want to say there's no need. There's no point in inviting him to such a long and serious ceremony, because there is some part of the prayer of the Seder that we saying things that he might get offended by it, and he doesn't understand what's going on. Okay? For example, is everything all right? Huh? Okay. For example, one of the verses in the Haggadah says, Shfoch hamatcha ala goyim, asher lo yodcha. Hashem, direct your anger, your rage, toward the non-Jews that does not serve you, that doesn't follow you. So imagine to yourself, we sit on the table, and they hear that we are praying that God will be not upset with us, be upset with the non-Jew. They don't understand what it means is that those non-Jews that don't know you. Asher lo yada'ucha. So what does that mean? So this guy thinks that God belongs to him only. Nah, we're going to go through such balagan. So it's better to avoid. He wants to learn. Teach him before Pesach, after Pesach. It could be very offending. We have no intention. Let me explain to you something. We are the only religion, Judaism is the only religion that does not pursue after anybody to become a Jew. And number two, that does not say if you not become a Jew, you're going to hell. We're saying you can get and earn Olam Haba, next world to come, and heaven by being a righteous Jew or a righteous non-Jew. Keep the 7 universal laws. That's it. You don't have to become Jewish. Other religion, you name them, they'll tell you, oh, if you're not like me, forget it. You're going to hell. Okay? So Judaism is very welcoming if someone is sincere and serious. But you don't have to become a Jew. Keep the 7 universal laws and you're done. You're good. You're righteous. You're tzaddik. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so it's not forbidden, but it's not suggested.
But it's not so suggested. Exactly. Other holidays, different. Purim, Hanukkah. This is a ceremony that we're saying things, and you think someone will sit there and says, "These guys, what's wrong with them? They hold grudge all this year against the Egyptians and against this and against that." We've been there, you know. The Torah teaches you, and the Mishnah and the Talmud says we had a lot of problems in the. Okay, it can be very dangerous for the whole community. So don't take it lightly. You can meet in another occasion. What's the point to invite them to the Seder? You can sit together. No. I recommend to sit to bring people to your table, not only in Pesach, but during the entire year, people that make good influence, either on you, on your children, on people around you. People that fit to your agenda, people that fit your belief, people that won't cause problems. Some people brings with them bad karma, bad energy. The sitra achra, as the Kabbalah, the Zohar says. Whatever you try to fix at your house, someone comes, can be even a Jew. Not talking only about a non-Jew. And they can ruin, if I want to simplify it in our these nowadays words, they ruin the good energy that you built in the house with the great kosher mezuzah and blessing you have in the house. Someone comes and bring with them a lot of bad force, sitra acha. It can ruin it for you, and you don't understand what's going on with you lately. A lot of problems, one after another. You don't know that a few days before, you had someone in the house that brought with him black energy. very bad vibes. Vibes.
You
Right?
just have to be careful in general
Vibes.
who you
Huh?
bring to your house.
No bad wife. Bad vibes.
I know, that's what I thought I heard him say.
I wanted to say black magic, but people are going to say black and white. Forget it. Okay. It's nothing to do with that. Ken, Rochelle. Any more questions? Okay, so I hope I answered your questions, and I think we're going to do a few more halachot. There is a question we get every year. There is some product in our home that is mixed with leavening, mixed with chametz. It could be wheat starch. That I guess is some type of material that chemically goods for a lot of product that we have in the house. One of them could be shoe polish, for example. So, can I have something like this in my house which contains chametz, leavening in it? So the halacha says there's no problem. It is permissible to use shoe polish that contains chametz ingredients, or to wear hats stiffened with dough in the lining, as long as one purchases these items before Pesach, so that one is sure that the chametz was rendered inedible before it becomes forbidden. It never does become forbidden. Okay? One was very important halacha. If a food that is chametz becomes rotten or moldy to the point that it is inedible, even for dogs, before the time that chametz is forbidden on 14th Nisan, it is permissible to keep it in one's possession even during Pesach, during Passover. Likewise, if it had burnt until it is inedible, even for dogs, it is permitted to keep it. And some people have chickens in the house, chicken in the yard. During the whole year, they're throwing them leftovers of bread and challah and bagels. Your yard is full of chametz. Well, it depends. If the animals eat it, if even a dog won't eat it, you consider already like the dust. So don't worry about it. It's better, it's highly recommended not to do it. During the year, find a spot that you want to put bread for them, for the animal. And it's very good, it's a great mitzvah that you're feeding animals. The Torah is very sensitive to animals. But you have to be very careful not to make them suffer. This is why you'll see a lot of religious people, ultra-Orthodox, almost have no pet at home because they don't want to get into this strictness. If let's say you have a dog and he cries for food and you ignore him, from Shamayim they'll punish you because he's depending on you. And you eat, you take care of yourself before you eat the animal. No, you have to feed your animals first, then eat. It's something we're saying 3 times a day in the Kriyat Shema. First of all, you feed the animal, and then you eat. If you don't, they cry. They cry for food. And from Shamayim, the angel takes their words, they cry, bring it before God, and God is very upset with you. So it's permitted in some settlements when it's a danger. You have to have dogs that protect the house. So there's some halachot, how to do it, which way, not in the house, outside the house. It's not so simple, believe me. It includes birds, it includes fish, it includes everything. If you have them already, you should know how to treat them. Therefore, it is permissible during Pesach to write using ink made with barley-based beer and to use denatured alcohol as fuel for a heater or portable cooker. One should purchase these items before Pesach to ascertain that the chametz was rendered inedible beforehand. Okay. You know, cigarette, something, I don't know if you do it today, but some cigarette, there's filter, and there is the junk, the tobacco, right? Many years ago, I don't know about today, they used to make, to glue the filter with the tobacco part with a dough, okay? They use flour, they glue it, yeah, sometimes glue, they mix it with whatever they mix it with, and so people smoke during Pesach and they have chametz in their mouth. What to do? So the halacha says, it is permissible to smoke cigarettes during Pesach even if the paper wrappers were glued together with a paste made from chametz-based material, since that chametz is no longer edible and it is not recognizable. Okay? Simple as that. It's recommended not to smoke at all, since the doctors already proved that it's dangerous to your health and dangerous to the people around you. Any questions so far? Okay, I think we're going to do one more halacha and we'll finish for today. It's a very important halacha. We already advertised and we already sent out Passover guide and we sent Passover schedule, so you know what time you have to stop eating chametz, what time to burn it, then get rid of it, because after that it's considered as chametz in your possession and you will be held responsible for it. That's not a game. God has wrote it in the Torah many times to be very careful with this chametz. Okay. So the only question we're going to discuss now, and we conclude with that, what do I do with the chametz, with the leavening, the one that I collected the night before, the 10 pieces, and in the morning around, I think 10:30, 11 o'clock, I have to get rid of the leftover of from the cereal or whatever we ate, the bagels. What do I do with it? Burn it, but let's say, I don't know if here in Citadel, Dallas, they'll let you, put the fire, maybe they put it on the grill, I don't know, but even in the grill, don't really burn it, it's going to be a lot of smoke. So what are the options? How to get rid of the chametz easily? Okay, trash can, okay, what else do you think? Okay. So the halacha says, how does one fulfill the mitzvah of destroying one's chametz? One may either burn it or cut it, break it into tiny particles and throw it into the wind into a lake or a sea. You can actually throw it to the toilet and flush it. Some people don't like to do it because it's bread and they don't feel comfortable doing that. But it's okay because it's not different than burning it. You can burn it. Or Torah Shul has, I think, from 8:30 till 11:30, they had a special place that they are designating to burn your chametz. It's a very nice experience to go there, take some videos, and especially the kids get excited by it. You have to bring your chametz without the plastic bags and all that, just the chametz itself. You need to understand that and note that it is forbidden to engage in other tasks once the time has come to burn the chametz, until one has finished burning it and has declared the final bitul chametz. Because if you're busy with task and work, you won't do the chametz, bitul chametz, nullifying your own chametz. One must fulfill these mitzvot before the 16th sessional hour of the day. What time is it? Please look at the Passover schedule. You know exactly till what time you can do it.
When you feed the ducks?
you can feed the ducks far away. You throw it into the lake. It's not yours anymore. Fine. You put it in a trash can. It's also fine. I will conclude with question. Answer is going to be given, God willing, next week. One, during Passover, all of a sudden, see chametz in the house. Chametz alert. Boom. A bagel was found behind the refrigerator. Boom. Someone came as a guest to the Seder, and he was so excited that he was invited. He obviously is not a Jew, is not an observant Jew, and he brought a very nice Jack Daniel's whiskey, which is completely chametz. And he put it on the table, boom, over the Seder. Everybody now is staring at the whiskey, looking at him, and they don't know whom they want to kill first, break first, the bottle or his head. What do? You can touch it. You can touch it, or you couldn't. What would you do? God willing, answer will be given next week. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, please go to our website, Ohev Israel Foundation, and make your donation for Kimcha de Pischa. We want to help those in need, people, family that needs to prepare for Passover. Make your donation. Write in the comments what this is a donation for Kimcha de Pischa, for Passover, and God bless you with abundant and good health for that. Toda rabah. See you in 5 minutes. We continue in the second part of the class. Shalom, shalom.